Welcome to Reddit Tell All. Today's story is extremely sad and I really feel bad for the OP that she's been put into this situation and what she's going through. And because the OP has only just posted this, there is no further updates to the story just yet, but I hope you enjoyed today's video. Leave all your comments down below and let's just get straight on with the story. My husband lied about having cancer and it cost us our son's life. For a little background, I, 38 female, married my husband, 39 male, when I was 23. We were very much in love and got married after dating for 2 years. I've never felt insecure in our relationship. I always felt like I had a great husband. While my friends and neighbours were divorcing, me and my husband rarely had issues, greater than arguments here and there. I felt like I had a perfect family. We have 2 kids, a son and a daughter. Our son is 14 and our daughter is 11. Recently, our son became reclusive, locking himself up in his room, spending all day on his phone or his computer. I did encourage him to open up and get some fresh air, but of course he ignored me. I figured it was just teen stuff. I was the same at his age. All my friends and family said he'd grow out of it. Now, my husband is a cancer survivor. He developed bone cancer at the age of 12 and was constantly in and out of the hospital until he was 17 when he beat it. He always talks about having cancer, how he was stripped of his childhood and how we, our family, should be appreciative of our lives. I've never been anything but supportive of him and I know health is a very sensitive topic for him. Fast forward to now, 2 weeks ago, our son killed himself. I don't want to get into the details, but I found him in his room. This is truly the most horrible thing I have ever been through and I'm still trying to recover. But the situation with my husband has only made this so much worse. In my son's note, he says he feels useless, that he's unappreciative, lazy, and that his dad managed to beat cancer and yet he can barely wake up in the morning. My husband was very distraught over this. I assured him this wasn't his fault, but he was inconsolable, especially about that part specifically. My husband was a wreck. I was too, but I still had to make funeral arrangements and break the news. I called my in-laws to tell them what happened. It's very important to know that I don't talk to my in-laws unless it's about my kids. My husband is almost completely no contact with his family besides his sister, but she lives in a different state. I told them a bit about what my son wrote and mentioned the cancer. My mother-in-law was very confused. What? Cancer? I didn't know what she meant, so I said, yeah. He felt like he wasn't as good as my husband since he survived cancer, but he couldn't do basic things. My mother-in-law then said, what? He never had cancer. I was so shocked and confused. I told her he did, and he always talks about it, but she assured me he never had it. My husband has always had terrible things to say about his mum, so I wasn't sure if I should believe her or not. He calls his parents, especially his mum, abusive and narcissistic, but after the call ended, she sent me photos of my husband in his youth, pictures of him on the soccer team in 10th grade. But my husband always told me he could never join any sports because he was always in and out of the hospital. This basically proved it. I was furious and blamed him for what happened to our son. After my husband came home, this all happened while he was getting groceries. I yelled and screamed until I couldn't anymore. At first he denied it, but after I showed him the proof, he stayed silent. I couldn't believe it. I punched him in the face, then went outside to get some fresh air. I'm honestly not a very violent person, but this is genuinely the most mad I've been in my entire life. I still don't know what to do. My son's funeral has passed, but I am still absolutely furious. I've been sleeping on the couch and only talking to him when needed. How do I tell my daughter? Should I? How do I tell all my friends who see his BS posts about being a survivor that he's a piece of crap and a liar? I don't know what to do. I feel so suicidal, but I don't want to burden my daughter by making her lose 2 family members like that, especially when that means leaving her with that psychopath that lied to me for 17 years. I feel so conflicted. I hate him to my core, but I still love him. Like I said, our marriage has always been good. I've been in love with him for so long now, I don't know how to stop. I've relied on him and looked to him for comfort, built a family with him, and now I feel backstabbed. It makes me wonder what else he has lied about. Edit. To anyone questioning my story, like I said, I don't speak to his family. I only have his parents' cell because they are still entitled to visit their grandchildren, regardless of how he feels about them. My kids would spend time with them around 1 to 2 times a month. No, they did not come to the wedding. Like I said, my husband is on very bad terms with everyone, but his little sister. We have met and she was at the wedding, but I still don't know her very well. And she lives in Florida, so it's hard to have a relationship with her. His parents actually did want to come to the wedding, but he didn't want them there. He's always been secretive about his life before he met me. As for childhood friends or anything like that, as far as I know, he's not really close to any of them anymore. Most of his friends that I know went to college with him and they know about the cancer, so I guess that's when he started lying about it. He has shown me childhood photos, but most are from when he was really young, not when he was a teen, which is when he had cancer. The ones where he is a teen, his head was shaven, so it wasn't hard to believe he was going through treatment. His excuse for not having many childhood photos is that his parents have them all, and since he doesn't like them, he doesn't want to ask them for his photos. I know that suicide is complicated, and I know that my husband isn't the only reason my son did this. He just felt insecure and compared himself to my husband, who turned out to be a liar. I'm very emotional right now. Anyone would be. So even though I know it isn't my husband's fault, I'm still upset and feel disdain for him, knowing my son died thinking his dad was so much better than him. I don't know anything about cancer besides the basics, so it was easy to lie, I guess. Cancer is not necessarily something that comes up in a casual conversation, and I wouldn't talk about it unless he did, so I wouldn't bring up any bad memories. That's all I have to say about that, so I won't be replying to any more comments to defend myself because apparently other people lie on here. Edit 2. I'm torn on what to do as I can't picture myself ever trusting him again. But I also rely on him financially and my daughter is already going through so much. I don't want to add divorce on top of it. I also know that the long process would drain me out as well when I already feel like I'm dying. This is not something I think I can get over, but I'm not sure I can leave him either. What a messed up situation. How can someone carry on a lie for that long? They've been married for, I think she said 17 years, and he lied about that their entire marriage. That's just crazy. And I can also understand why some of the comments would think that this might be a made-up story, because I think it's hard to believe that someone wouldn't work that out. If he talks about having cancer so much and it's pretty much part of his personality of being a survivor, even if you're not close with the family, it just seems hard to believe that it wouldn't come up in conversation. But it may not have. As she did say, it's not something that you usually would just talk about casually, whether it's with family or close friends. So it possibly could be that it just never came up and they don't see the family that often. But that's a really horrible situation to be in. Knowing that your husband lied about something so big for that long and done it so easily, you would be suspicious about whether he's lying about something else. But that's all I've got for you today. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget, if you did like the video, don't forget to subscribe, and hopefully you'll come back and join me on another video very soon.